Joining us right now is Mr. Mark Cooper. He is the Chief of Staff of Governor John Bel Edwards. Hey, Mr. Mark, welcome back to Kiel. How you doing today?
Hey, good morning.
You know, I was talking to a friend about this last night. No matter your political party, no matter your political leaning, it's if you could sit down with the governor, if we could sit down with the governor, if I sat down with him today, first thing I would say was, you know, when you were campaigning either time, of all the things that you thought would land on your desk, in your lap, that you'd be responsible for, this was probably not one of them, is it?
Yeah, that's correct, Robert. This is beyond what anyone would think. Well, anywhere in the country, all states are dealing with this that he would be dealing with. But I would say that he's the right governor for this time. I mean, we had several crises during the first term. With his background and experience. And let me say that, I've been dealing with disasters for 30 years, going back to my time in Los Angeles, where my first disaster was the LA riots and then the Northridge earthquake. I've never seen a leader like him. And I'm not just saying that, and I'm a Republican. But, the man prays in the morning, he prays at night, he prays with his wife, prays during the day. What he's got, with his West Point experience, with his military experience, he's the right man for the job, and he's not taking these decisions lightly. He's talking to the right people. But you're right, this is not something that he would ever have dreamed up, or any of us would, or anyone in this country would have dreamed up, or you would have dreamed up. Mm-hmm. But he's the right man for this time, and I think the citizens of Louisiana can rest assured that he's taking this very seriously, as we all are.
As the rules, as the suggestions, as you laid out the framework for, first it was 50 people, now the Fed is saying 10, whatever it happens to be. How intense were those meetings with state officials and the governor? You were probably in there. I would imagine as you guys were making some decisions and the governor was getting different opinions, I would imagine things got a little heated, to say the least. Fair?
Very fair. Very intense. I mean, that's what I like about this governor. I mean, he's taking input from everyone at the end of the day, or at the end of the hour, or at the end of the minute, because this changes by the minute. It's his decision, and we've been on several conference calls with the president's task force on the virus. I mean, we just a few days ago we were meeting with the president's Surgeon General. They even cut a public service announcement together, and Surgeon General was advising the governor. So he's getting input from many ways, and we're taking the guidance from the president and his task force and from the CDC. So these decisions are not being made in a vacuum, and we're making these decisions based on information from the professionals and from the president. But yes, it's very difficult, because we know it's impacting people's lives, and he's taking that into consideration. And these are tough decisions. And like I said, he agonizes over them, he prays about it, but at the end of the day, he's the one that has to make that decision, and he's getting diverse opinions, and sometimes they do get heated, from his staff. But at the end of the day, he's the one making the decision.
Mark, let me ask you this: a lot of teachers, parents are listening today. They want to know about LEAP testing, about the rest of the school year, about summer school, etc. Where are we on that? Texas has canceled their STAR testing. What's the status of spring testing in Louisiana?
Well, I'll have to get back to you on that. I know that that's being discussed, so I don't want to make an announcement on that. I'd rather get someone that I know that they're talking about that. We have Unified Command Group meetings every day, and we have someone from higher ed and K through 12 on that. I think that the last I heard, again, I'd rather get somebody on there to give you the decision on that, so I can get back to you on that, Aaron. But I don't have that.
What is the message to teachers today? I mean, that some of them are going to do online classes. Some kids may or may not have access. What is the message to educators and parents today with regard to trying to get some learning in during this chaos?
Well, the message is that the districts, we're in communication. They're being very strategic. We want learning to continue on. We're working with the districts. We're working through K through 12, and we've, again, since this started, it's been very coordinated. And I know they've been getting information out, and everyone's working well together. And I know this is a difficult time, as it is through with all the states. So the learning is going to continue, and our hope is that we've got this order going on until I believe it is April 13th, and hopefully at that point we're going to see some changes and the schools can go back in. That may not be the case, but that's our hope. But right now we're doing the online learning, and so we're doing that from the homes. But I would, what I can do is I can get somebody on from there to give you that information. But
Okay.
for the teachers is that just listen to what you're hearing from your districts, and the districts are working with the state, and it's a very coordinated effort, and they're being very strategic, knowing that that's important. I mean, I've got a daughter that's in high school, and I know it's impacting everyone, and we're acting upon, again, the advice we're getting, but everyone is working together. That's what excuse me, that's what I would tell you.
Mark, let me ask you this. What are you guys, in your meeting that you huddle in every day, what are you looking for to see? What are some of the signs you're looking for to show that we've rounded the curve, we're kind of on the downslope now? What things are we watching for?
Well, we're looking at the number of cases that we're getting every day, and let me say that we're going to see them go up dramatically and it's not because necessarily that the virus is spreading anymore. I mean, the governor has instituted these mitigative measures, but the problem is we've had limited testing. Now we're starting to see testing go statewide. I know you've got 4 cases up there in Shreveport-Bossier. We know there's more cases than that. It's not that it's necessarily spreading at a faster rate, but now that we're going to be doing testing statewide, we're going to see more cases. So that doesn't necessarily mean a spike. We hope that's not the case. So what we're going to want to know is once we get the testing statewide, at some point in time, we're going to want to see those number of cases drop, and then we'll know that our mitigative measures are working. And then that's when we can start looking at, okay, when can we start, planning to open things back up and get back to a new normal, or the old normal. So that's what we're going to be looking at. And again, looking at the guidance that we're getting, from the President's task force on the coronavirus and guidance from the CDC. And then also, just talking with local officials and doing this in a coordinated fashion, as well as with the hospitals, which the governor's been doing, with the local hospitals. But looking to see as that curve that he talks about as it starts to go down, but right now it's not. I mean, last night, and when we're not ready to announce the numbers, we had some more cases come in last night. It's over 200. Fortunately, none of those new cases were in Caddo-Bossier, but we know that those numbers up there are going to go up as well.
One concern I have is I'm seeing that drive-through testing is now being done. They're starting it in New Orleans, and now I was told Baton Rouge is starting it, and they just got their first case. How soon before Shreveport-Bossier residents can go to a drive-through testing site and be tested?
Well, I'm being told that there's 3 sites that if they've not already opened, they'll be opening within the next day or so up there in Shreveport-Bossier. Okay. So those sites are being planned up there if they've not already opened.
Okay. So they're on the way.
They are on the way. The 3 major hospitals up there are working on those. So we're doing those throughout the state.
Good. And
kits are being made available, so rest assured that is happening. And then again, we're going to see an increase up there. That doesn't necessarily mean, that it's spreading. It just means that there's people walking around with the virus that haven't been tested. And so again, to your question, we want to see those numbers drop. But right now, we are seeing increases. We're up to well over 200. And I don't know if you've talked about this, but the governor's concern is when you look at a per capita basis. Right now, we're number 3 in the country as far as states are concerned, behind New York and Washington.
Why is that, Mark? Was it Mardi Gras have something to do with it?
Well, time will tell. We'll be doing research on that to determine. It could have been Mardi Gras. I mean, that could have been what it was. Nobody knows. But certainly New Orleans, that area of the state, is where the hotbed is. New Orleans is actually number 2 in the country as far as cities are concerned per capita. But at that time, nobody really knew. I mean, the virus was just coming up, and nobody knew that that was going to be a major problem. But it looks like New Orleans is where the main area is. But I'd heard that one of the cases, that one of the cases up in Shreveport was not necessarily from New Orleans. So you can't really say that it was all New Orleans. I mean, all over the country, this virus is circulating.